Mics are hot.
Break it down. I don't know who I'm talking to, but the Lord has given me a word for you. Whatever you're going through, yeah, God gave me this word for you. Everything will be alright. When you're going through, just remember this word. Everything will be alright. Now listen, everybody clap your hands out now this evening. Listen, I want y'all to help me sing. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Everybody say yeah.
Whew. That's a little signature move right there. Mm-hmm. Is that? There it is. That one is working. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. That's Doobie playing right there. We thank God for Darian Brister. That always puts me up on good music. Stuff that's like popular but not popular, but that's super hot. It's always the music that you like, dang, where'd that come from? And so, ladies and gentlemen, Darian Brister will find that for you. And he'll just say, hey, big bro, you ever check out so-and-so? And then he'll tell me where it's at, and then I'll listen to it, and then I'll be playing it on repeat like crazy. So, ladies and gentlemen, look forward to the playlist from Darian Brister. Also, if you just need some soothing music to get your mind right, make sure you go check out my boy Jay Mars on YouTube. It's on repeat. It's playing. And you can get yourself, if you don't want to put on stuff that you kind of know, you'll get out of focus, be singing to it and stuff like that. You can go check out Jay's stuff and kind of get into that zone, and it feels great. But you're not like getting caught up in singing hooks and stuff and everything you can feel it. All right. So my sister Enon's here. Yep. She says music encyclopedia. Yes. I'm going to give it over to the guys. Check them out at the table. Ladies and gentlemen, forgive me on today because I did a, what do you call that? Update. And when you do updates, stuff start acting a little wonky and wacky. I'm going to preach that in some kind of way, shape, or form. That when you don't update everything in your system at the same time, there may be a lag somewhere. Oh my! I need to speak it in tongues button. Here we go.
Preach. Yeah, that'll preach right there. That's a good one.
Now the button don't want to work. There it go. You got it, Darren.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Between Sundays.
Welcome.
Today's episode 22. Again, we're a platform where we offer perspectives of the modern church, ministry, operation, and the many nuances therein from the lens of worship, arts, and multimedia personnel. All right, we're glad to be back with
That's my sis. That's why I can rely on her.
We are so glad to be back with you all in studio. And going forward, we want to, try to provide the most consistent quality of content and experience that we absolutely possibly can. So before we get into today, please, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube page, please do us a favor. Please. Subscribe to the YouTube page.
Hit that like button.
We are live on YouTube, and I also have we've put a lot of the content clips that we put on Facebook on our YouTube page as well. For those of you on Facebook, please tag someone you think would like to join the conversation, hear the conversation, or post it to their page. Or if you're part of a group that you think might benefit from the conversation, please share it to a group. All right, so the topic we're trying to get into, or we've been trying to get into the last couple of weeks, I would say, what is my role / responsibility in the worship experience? What is my role, responsibility in the worship experience. Now, we're still going to start as we always do. We're looking back at a comment that we didn't get a chance to get to. And today is going to be a little bit of, let's say, a little bit of a re-air of last week, just so that we can give the topic and comment that we went over last week the same quality that we're used to giving you all. I had the most challenges last week being remote and having to work on Wi-Fi. So we want to make sure, again, that we can give the quality attention to the topics that we are used to giving you all. Again, thanks for joining. I see people coming in the room. Again, please share. Please tag someone. So here's the comment. And again, this is kind of a re-air from last week. We're going to use one of the comments from last week. But here we go. This is from Nick Hill. He said, speaking from experience, the thing I didn't do when I felt capped, and capped here meaning capped in creativity regarding, because Nick is a musician, that he said, the thing I didn't do when I felt capped was valuing mentorship. I failed in that instance because I felt that I outgrew the ministry, when in reality, I became the burden. If I would have really embraced mentorship when younger, I could have been further along and made correct decisions when I failed trying it on my own. So again, if you were with us last week, we went over this comment, but again, we want to go over it again. I think there's a lot of layers that are very beneficial to discuss. All right. So one more time, let me read it. Jay, I'm throwing it straight to you. Speaking from experience, the thing I didn't do when I felt capped was valuing mentorship. I failed in that instance because I felt that I outgrew the ministry, when in reality, I became the burden. If I would have really embraced mentorship when younger, I could have been further along and made correct decisions where I failed trying it on my own. Jay.
So, as I shared last week, I can definitely understand from his point of view and not valuing mentorship. A lot of times, as musicians, we get a lot of musicians actually are in this position right now, whether they want to admit it or not. Why? Because you get to a point where you try to do things on your own. And a lot of times, as my brother stated last week, we tend to forget that it's a two-way street. Mm-hmm. And so because we forget it's a two-way street, when you try to do it on your own, just like anything, and you don't have no kind of advisement, you could go down a road and it can get kind of lonely.
Mm. Yes, sir.
And there's nothing scarier than finding out you're at a dead end and there's nobody there. I've been there more than once. And I remember when I could have valued mentorship, and when I was younger, playing for so many different ministries, it's hard to, as a young musician, it's hard to value anything when you have everything to your fingertips. Most musicians don't value something until they lose it. You don't realize how valuable that one preacher or that one pastor may have been in your life.
Yeah.
And you'll be at their church, and whether or not they're growing membership wise, you may be there for something different. And if you don't recognize what you're there for, you can feel, as my man said, capped. Excuse me, in that ministry. You can feel that there's nothing there for you because you don't see anything else.
Yeah.
We can't go past our vision, man.
Yeah.
If you don't see it, there's no way you can go toward it. So because of that, and the word outgrew the ministry. More of the ministry might have outgrown you.
Mm. Mm.
You know, and unless you realize that there are certain situations that God will place you in, it's not about money.
Yeah.
It's not about your plan.
Yeah.
Certain situations God will put you in simply for the guidance.
Mm.
I was placed in situations for the guidance, but I did not realize that I was there for that, and I was there because they were paying me.
Yeah.
And though they tried to guide me, my vision wasn't about that.
Yeah.
And what happened, just as he said, I became the burden of the church, a financial burden, because now they're carrying me. And I'm no longer an asset. I'm a liability now.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Why am I a liability? Not just because of finances, but I'm not adding any kind of spiritual value. I am a well without water. I don't have anything to give you. I'm digging every single week to give you nothing but dry bucket. But I'm capable.
Yeah.
And because I'm capable, I work from that capability, because gifts come without repentance.
Absolutely.
However, I have no water. I have no oil. I have nothing to give you, because I am, as he says, capped.
Yes, sir.
So I surrender the mic to whatever you want to say about it, bro.
Got you. So I'm going to start in a similar place I did last week with one of the key words I pulled out was the capped, which you spoke a lot about, Jay. And so one of the things that I asked when we look at this word capped, because this is not any creative, they'll tell you that they've had an experience with either capped, or we might call it a block of some sort.
Yeah.
So this is not a foreign word to us at all. But one of the things I would ask, the individual here that felt like or feels like they are capped, again, in the construct of creativity. My first question is, well, what is your hunger level? I think last week I said that when it comes to creativity in ministry, in my experience, the feeling of being capped normally is the product of being comfortable, or
Nice.
or something that drives, or that is the platform of your creativity and your gifting, that platform getting comfortable. Because we're comfortable with where we are, and what, let's say, or a product that we've consistently produced. We get comfortable with that in terms of, okay, long as we can just reproduce that one thing, or these things every week, or whatever the case, whatever periodic, long as we can do that, we're good. Yeah, you're good for a period of time, and then after that period of time, it becomes more of a chore.
Yes, I've been there.
And chores and creativity don't go together.
Yeah.
That doesn't mix very well at all. So I have to start there in terms of, okay, what is your hunger level?
Yeah.
Are you just hungry to repeat the routine? Or are you hungry for something different?
Yeah.
Are you hungry to evolve what routine that you've been able to build and develop? It's not to say that something was wrong with that routine, but if, again, all you desire is just to repeat the process, then that capped feeling is coming for you.
Yeah, for sure.
It is coming for you. So that's the first question I had to ask. Now, I got to get to this mentorship part. You hit that very well, and then Pels, I'm coming your way.
Well,
I just
yeah,
want to.
I'm just throw this on the screen so you
Yep,
see.
and I did see that.
Okay.
I did see that. Let me get to this mentorship thing. We talked about it last week. You brought it up this week. Two-way street.
Yep.
Two-way street. Mentees, please be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us have sought out mentorship in one or two places.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found is that for whatever reason, that avenue did not prove to be beneficial.
Yep.
The mistake was, this was the mistake. The mistake was not seeking out the avenue.
Yeah.
The mistake may not even have been the person you sought. The mistake is when, because of it did not go well or did not go how you expected, because of that, now you believe there's a flaw or there's an issue or it's wrong to seek mentorship.
So actually, you've capped your
Yes.
thinking.
We are quick a lot of times to mislabel things solely based on our experiences.
Say that again, bro.
We are
Yes.
very quick
Yeah.
to
Definitely.
mislabel things solely
Solely.
based off of our experience
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
And that's not just the creatives. That's the church in general.
Mm-hmm.
That applies to the church leadership
Yep.
as well. So please be careful there that, we are not mislabeling or devaluing mentorship, good mentorship, just because of some bad experiences.
Yeah.
Pels, you ready for us?
Not really. But
Take a stand, dog. Take a stand.
not really, but I mean, what do you want me to hit on? Honestly,
What's your thoughts regarding the capped part?
when you say cap, you mean like tapped out or something like that, right?
Meaning, or let me use this word, trapped.
Mm-hmm. Like you have no more creative
Trapped
for that ministry.
in one way of doing things.
So
Yeah.
the thing is so I thought about something, and I'm gonna throw a little plug here for somebody. So many of you who are watching, you might know Dr. Kevin Johnson, right?
Okay.
Dare to Imagine did great work there. He's now in New York at Abyssinian. I went up there and visited. My wife and I were in New York. I got up, went to Harlem, went to church, and great band. He has a plan and a ministry, and he's got to get the church kind of going or get it. He has a vision for where he's going.
Yeah.
Even if he stayed here, I look at somebody like that, and I'm coming out of a pastor position and put myself in, this is between Sundays musician talk, right?
Mhm.
You got to also know, like, where are you going or what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, when you go join a ministry or you take on a job or something, in your brain, you have, I'm only going to be here for 5 years, or am I there to lift them? Because I can go on a tour.
Yeah.
I got big people I can play for. I done studio work, whatever, but I like to be in church on Sunday. That's how my soul works. And I want to pour in and help. So am I there to help? And then if there's mentorship there, like, have I vetted the prospective mentor? Like, if I didn't vet them, or I didn't see anybody that has any kind of mentorship capabilities, why am I complaining about the lack of mentorship later on?
Yes,
Right?
sir.
It's kind of like this expectation when it's like, we have expectations on people when we already have seen that they can't deliver on what we want. So we start complaining about what's not there.
Yeah.
You see, like, it's one of those type of things. And I want to go to my sister's point. It says, should mentorship be requested or should it be offered?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, I think that mentorship is always indirectly offered,
Mm-hmm.
right? And not so much that it should have to be requested. It's more like acknowledgement. I'm seeking you for mentorship, because a lot of times when people are trying to mentor, they're just kind of duplicating themselves, and it's almost like a narcissistic mentality.
Yeah.
Not unless you're putting something together. Like G. Lamar Stewart has a passion for going into the streets and helping young men out. So he's deliberately offering a mentorship of some sort.
Yeah.
It's there. The next thing is does the young man want it?
Mm-hmm.
Do the parent of the young man see, I think you need to go here?
Yeah.
That kind of, and then when it comes down to church, I don't have much emotion for musicians that do a lot of mentorship talk, right? I kind of don't, because I'm not expecting the mentor for my finances to be the guy that plays the B3 the best.
Mm-hmm.
If they're mentoring me on playing, that's one thing, but they might be the most financially jacked up person.
Yeah.
So I gotta now look at, the pastor might be jacked up in that.
Yeah.
And he's learning from the trustees.
Mm-hmm.
So mentorship is real touchy, because sometimes mentorship leans into the expectation that people are perfect when they're not.
Gotcha.
And then when they don't live up to the expectations, we get to this whole ruffling back and forth of trying to qualify what good mentorship is or what it's not.
Yeah.
So I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I don't have a good landing point on it, because before we kind of define mentorship has already been happening.
Yeah.
And so the mentee, like Darian started, there's an equal responsibility on the mentor and the mentee.
Agreed.
Right? Because if the mentee is totally ignorant to it, that's when the organizations are helping those who don't know how to help themselves.
Yeah.
If I'm becoming a mentee deliberately, then I have the responsibility of checking the mentor out. And the mentor has the responsibility of not just mentoring somebody that just cries out, I want to be a mentee.
Yeah.
Because then you kind of like wasting your time and energy on somebody that's just trying to put the label on.
Yeah.
And they're never getting better. So it's like I put on Nikes and I'm still not running faster.
Yeah. Got you. So let me do this.
Can I touch on that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Second.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, Pels, man, like, bro, you done brought up a whole.
I'm screwed up with it, I know.
But let's go there.
Man,
Let's go there.
I also wanted to touch on something that I think it's a branch of this, and it's more of be careful of toxic mentorship.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Careful of anything toxic, but yes.
Yeah,
Careful
and
toxic
the reason why I
mentorship.
call it toxic mentorship, and I say this because of I've been through it.
Yeah.
And a lot of young, very gifted musicians, and I'm sure Darian has been here, you'll have where you'll play for a certain pastor that'll just son you without even asking. And what'll happen is at first you'll feel all the love and all the wonderful
I'm so sorry, y'all.
You'll feel the honeymoon.
Why ain't y'all tell me I'm on screen and Jay back there talking?
Yeah, it's all good, man. Look.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry about that. I mean, geez.
You'll feel all the love and respect that they have for you until you do something they don't like.
Yeah.
And I always used to say, if you ever want to know a true mentor's feelings towards you, if your mentor is a pastor, leave their ministry. If that mentorship is only in the church walls, that's a problem.
Yeah.
If it's only when you work for them
Yeah.
and nobody else, that's an issue.
Yeah.
That's something that you now have taken into consideration. And this right here is why a lot of musicians, as my brother said, this is why we get hurt and solely base anything else,
Any of our next moves
on what happened
previous experience.
on previous experience. That is so true, because a lot of times any type of negative, we don't really take the positive with us.
Yeah.
We more take the negative. So any new ministry or any new situation, choir, community church or community situation, anything that we do we always have that side eye.
Yeah.
We always have that side eye toward them. And even if, let's just say, they don't make a certain payment at the time we think they should,
It's a trigger.
it's a trigger.
Yep.
And it made me realize that there's some healing
That needs to take place.
For the toxic situations that has happened, not only in musicians and singers, but sometimes the leaders too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, but go ahead, D, if you got
Absolutely. Great points, Jay. Great points. Now, before we leave this comment, let me pivot to Mrs. Brister's question. And let me attempt to answer it in short form.
This one?
Because this might be a question that we
That's a good one.
revisit on a later podcast. But let me attempt to answer this in short form. All right. Should mentorship be requested or should it be offered? Now that probably, could have a different answer depending on who you ask. Let me take this approach. All right. As a mentee, let me not even say as a mentee, as a creative, we all have a path of honing our craft. One of the tools that can help you on that path would be good mentorship. So from that lens, I would answer the question, it should be requested. It should be requested.
I like it.
From that lens, that's how I would answer. It should be requested. Now, what we have to do here is, all right, we have to take some, responsibility of who are we requesting it of? Because what do we do a lot of times? Many times we look at the ability of the person, the status of the person, sometimes the popularity of the person. But are we looking for any other qualities?
Right.
Are we looking for some of those qualities that Rakim Harris mentioned?
Right. Bishop Rakim Harris.
Yep. Or are we just kind of looking for the surface stuff? All right. But yeah, in short form, it should be requested, particularly if, again, as the creative that is looking to hone their craft and perfect their craft, master their craft. Well, one of your greatest tools on that journey quite possibly is some good mentorship from someone who maybe is a little further along, or even they have achieved some of the things that you would like to achieve. So I would say it should be requested. Now, when it's requested, some people you requested of, that's just not in their DNA.
Right.
It is not in their DNA to really be a mentor. And that is okay.
Yeah. That's right.
Because they're not the only person who has maybe achieved things in your area that you are looking and aspiring to achieve. They're not the only person. But we got to recognize it. We got to recognize that, some you may look to for mentorship that just may not be in their DNA.
Hey, you know what's crazy about mentorship? Mentorship basically says, I give you permission to be in my space. Right? So to your point, Darren, when you said requested, requested is saying, hey, I'm asking for permission to be in your space, because mentorship is defined as experienced people. So if they're experienced in something, the mentee goes to the mentor because you've seen something in the experience, and you look at that as credible. Like, I need that.
Yes.
I need to pour in that. We laugh at musicians that are dope. We like, dude, I just got to shake your hand and get some of that. Like, just the metaphoric thing of getting some of that.
Yes, sir.
The mentorship now says, oh yeah, you what? Like, I ain't want to be all over your shoulder. Oh no, you cool. Come on in.
Mhm.
Well, you're giving me now permission to be in your space.
Yeah.
That's mentorship without even technically asking for it.
Yeah.
So the flip side on that is requested would be, yo, if I could just sit next to you for a while, or the CEO of a company, if I could just walk this building with you, you know, at least once or twice a week, then the cap on that is, so you asking me to mentor you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. Now the title mentorship is in there, but we all are technically mentors of some
Absolutely.
way. So that's
Absolutely.
why I love how you put it on requested rather than offered, because the person that really is qualified to be the mentor doesn't just offer it. Because what you realize is it's Christ offered himself,
Yeah.
right? But once Christ came and died, Christianity in itself presents Christ. It's always literally offered by default in just being a Christian. The thing is the request. What must I do to be saved?
Yeah.
Now is acknowledgement. I need that, which already shows the experience.
Yes, sir.
So if that be the case, you got people that learn how to play 3 chords and they talk about my mentee. Dog, who you mentoring? Like
Right,
your
right.
experience, you don't even know how to play in 2 keys. But in their brain, they're mentoring somebody.
Yeah.
Yes and no. But now let's go to what Jay said. Toxic mentorship is you are now you're now requesting as a mentor. You are now soliciting mentees to do the messed up stuff that you do.
Yeah.
Pulpits got a ton of mentees that are mentoring mimics and minions of mess, not ministry.
Puppet show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they call it mentorship, which means we're mentoring people to act stupid just like us. That's insane.
Insane.
So again, if we define a lot of these terms that we have, we don't have to get all into the nitty-gritty of semantics or whatever. But if we go back and define, it's like when people throw scriptures out and you open the scripture for yourself, look at the context. What was Paul saying at that time?
Yes,
Don't
sir.
just, women can't wear, women can't. Okay, read the context and find out what was going on. Restart again and look at, let's roll with how we define mentorship, but let's redefine it and say mentor and mentee is a person that's looking at the experienced person.
Yeah.
And the mentor is somebody that's experienced. I'm experienced in a lot of stuff. And I don't even have technical mentees, but I do.
Yeah.
Because I let people into my space that want to know. So if you're trying to help yourself, I'm definitely willing to help you. And those who don't know how to help themselves, that's where programs are necessary, that family put people in.
Yes, sir.
Loved ones put people in stuff because
sir.
they don't even know that they need the help.
Yeah.
But if you get to the point of saying, hey, I need help, the mentors are there.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then seek that experience, but don't just add that label because you think you're supposed to have it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
A woman just said on here now, I forgot because I know all y'all, but one of our sisters mentioned she has her son with multiple mentors because it's like, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket because
go.
the person that can tell you how to show you how to love family and stuff, they not the best with their finances.
There
And
you
the
go.
one that's the best with their finances, they're good because they really don't give a daggone about nobody.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to spread that. And back to what Rakeem said, vision,
Yep.
integrity,
Stability.
stability, and accountability.
Yep.
Boom.
Now I'm gonna say this, man.
Get it, Jay. Get it,
Bruh.
Jay.
Bruh. You know who is an unofficial mentor for me? He didn't ask to be this,
Go for it. Let me hear it.
bruh. Pop Lee.
Oh yes.
Boom.
Yo,
Great example.
Yes, sir.
Great
Pop
example.
Lee. Let me tell you something about this man. I can come to Pop Lee. It's never a time when I came to him and we just did not talk.
Yeah.
Son.
He got. I can ask
You like,
Pop
damn, where's
Lee-
the best place to get chicken?
man?
Well, son.
Right. It's just like
Uh-huh.
you know, I'd be like, Pop, yeah, man. So you know, we going, you know, we go ahead, you know, do what we got to do, man. Well, you know, God told Paul. I was like, oh, okay, let me get my Bible, man, because
Yeah.
it's about to be deep. I know whatever he's going to share, and even
Yeah.
even when I ask him, you know, about life situations, it's just like God gives him the answers
Yeah.
that I need for right there.
Yeah.
Like it's very few men I've met that I can honestly say I walk up to and was like, man, I can walk with you for hours.
Yeah.
Right.
I can talk with you for hours, man. Like, bruh, where did you come from?
Yeah, because his approach has never been, which we've seen this particularly in ministry. We've seen these, let's say self-proclaimed mentors
Mm-hmm.
that take the approach in ministry of talking at you.
Yeah.
Facts, Angel.
Yeah.
Facts.
Pastor Lee, he's never a person that will talk at you,
Yeah.
and that's inviting.
Can we celebrate them too and give them
Absolutely.
their flowers?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I gotta
For
say
sure.
this, and
For
listen,
sure.
listen. I ain't gonna say y'all can fight me on this. It's not even a fight. If you have a different opinion, I'm open to hear it.
Yeah.
They are two people. There's many others. Shout out to Bishop Coleman and Mom Debbie and different ones, right? But I'm gonna say this just for you. Even got Moore, Pauline Moore, Mom Moore, and Pop Moore.
Yeah.
But because all these people are on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just emphasize Pop Lee and Mom Dale.
Yeah.
They're the same way everywhere
Every
you
time.
see them.
Yeah.
My dumb behind didn't know mine was on the sound system when I preached over at the church. Like,
wow. What about your mom do sound too?
Well, no,
No,
she's just
okay.
kind of directing traffic.
dog,
instead.
she but she be in the cut. Like she ain't
Yeah.
first lady and up on the front row. Everybody look at me. I'm the star.
Yeah.
I thought she was with Pop preaching out
Yeah.
West Philly.
No.
And I get to the battle like, Mom, you was here all the time. Yeah, baby. Yeah, when the stuff was on the screen and so and so, and then well, we said use that mic and not this mic and that with that. I was like, oh snap, Mom is rolling.
Yeah.
And then Pop will be somewhere chilling in the cut with a cup of coffee or something
Mm-hmm.
over there, and you'll see me, Sean Edmonds, somebody else over there
Yep.
getting mentored.
Yeah.
Hear what I'm saying? Mentor. I have never officially said, hey, Pop Lee is my mentor.
Right.
But I've gotten a ton of mentorship from him from during the days of my dad
Yeah.
to after my dad. When my dad died, he was right there. Like, son, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I went to him like, yo, I need to call you so and so.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me add this real
Go
quick.
ahead, go
I'll
for
put
it.
this little pin in there.
Go for it.
The thing about it is, for me, Pop Lee don't even play.
No.
So all people that you look up to for mentorship
Talk, Jay.
does not have to be in the
Reverend?
same field you're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wisdom
Now-
is wisdom.
Here's the interesting
Come
thing.
on here,
that-
Reverend.
Here's the interesting thing that most people don't know about Pastor Lee. So, Pastor Lee is more musical than most people think.
Wow. Okay.
Watch this. He reads music.
Darren about to give up the tape. Come on, Darren. look, Jay like, wait, what?
What?
He like, huh?
Pop Lee reads music.
Huh?
He was a tuba player in high school and college.
That's why he got the Barry White tone.
Oh,
That's the
snap.
Barry White tone. Now it's coming together.
First of all,
you helping me
the
and Jay on
tuba?
today.
the tuba.
You helping me and
bruh,
Jay on today.
how many cats you know play the tuba?
Yeah, preachers. Exclusive. Y'all heard it on Between Sundays.
Oh, come
Pastor
on,
Paulie,
man.
y'all put in the chat column. Pastor Paulie plays the tuba.
Jay,
Wait a minute.
look.
Wait a minute. What my man say from
Hold on, is Mom-
Drumline?
is Mom
It's
Dale gonna get you?
always been about the tubas.
Is Mom Dale gonna get you for that?
No,
That
she
means
don't
Mom
hit me
Dale
with that.
played a harp. Let's find out. She played a harp.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Come on, Pop.
Yep.
First of all, you know how much air you have to play the tuba?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Shameless plug. Papa be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sitting at the desk.
Yeah, he'll be back. I can't wait.
So y'all gonna ask him. Now let me try and tie this
I'll lay
up
on
here.
Jay. Oh, look at that.
Well, I got the light.
Glow. We gonna glow.
Let me try
There
and
is a light special for you. And we put your hands up to the sky.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
oh man.
You don't have to look no further. Sorry, all right, the serious
good,
guy.
bro.
Take it back over there.
He said the serious
The
guy.
serious guy.
So let me try and tie things up here. I wanted to say one more thing regarding Mrs. Brister comment. Then I wanted to come back to the original comment from Nick
Get it
Hill.
right. Get it right, boy.
So let's fast forward this whole process of, should it be requested or offered?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's fast forward a little bit to it is requested. And then the mentor that it is requested of accepts. Here's something else that I think is very important to understand about this process. All right. As the mentee, the mentorship process from that person that accepts is not determined by you. It's not determined by the mentee.
Yeah.
Because if you are trying to pull from someone who you aspire to have accomplished or accomplish what they have done or are doing, then a lot of times it will have to be done. And I know this ain't going to sound the friendliest, but it will have to be done on their terms.
Yeah.
You'll find yourself really having to follow their schedule. But that's, again, in my opinion, that's kind of the rules of engagement.
Yeah. Yeah.
That the rules of engagement is, listen, okay, you requested it, the mentor accepted, but here is the blueprint at which I'm able to mentor you.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Example. Some years ago, when I first had the privilege of meeting Troy Chambers, I said to him, hey man, if you don't mind, I would like to try and shadow you on some of your itinerary.
Nice.
Just to be in proximity when you're on the Hammond.
Right.
And soak up as much as I can get. I didn't try and say to him, hey, can you work with me on Wednesday nights and Saturday morning? That's not how I approached that.
Right.
I said, okay, if you don't mind, can I shadow you on what you're already doing?
Right.
Right.
And at your schedule.
I think that's important for those in the mentor or the mentee seat to understand before you seek and request mentorship. Now, coming back to the original comment when we were talking about the felt capped in ministry, valuing mentorship, there is one other word. I hit it last week. I want to hit it again. In the second sentence, he says, I failed in the instance because I felt that I outgrew the ministry, when in reality, I became the burden. And I said this last week. It deserves being said again. Creatives, we have abused this word outgrew.
That's right.
We have abused this. I've heard too many times where it was said by a creative that we outgrew a ministry. When in most cases, you never fit in the first place.
Wow. Yeah.
You tried to make yourself fit for some reason. Maybe it was because of the bag.
Yep.
And then even after you got the bag, the problem is your threshold for not fitting. You hit that threshold. Because you're going to hit it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you hit it and you left, you say you outgrew. No. You didn't outgrew. No. You tried to put yourself somewhere you didn't belong.
Yeah.
Right.
Round peg in a square hole.
Right.
Because let's be honest, creatives, when we say we outgrew the ministry, whether or not you intended as a negative light on the ministry, that's what you're shedding. That's what it will be interpreted as. When you say you outgrew the ministry, many will interpret that as there is something wrong with the ministry. So I'm not a fan of us abusing that word.
I had that problem. I mean, I in my early years of pastoring and being a musician and getting off to Oregon, I had a pretty good musician come in, and I was really like, I literally could write a book on the mistakes that I made, that I call mistakes, or if I coulda, woulda, or did better. I had this musician literally say, like, you know, oh, I'm outgrowing they didn't really say I've outgrown this, but they in themselves were saying, like, they were making it like if our ministry was a flower pot, they need to be placed in a bigger pot. And I'm like, well, the roots ain't really grow that big yet. You know, my dad used to talk about swelling rather than, you know, growing. Like, if you ain't on the swell, you don't need more room. Right. Wow. And I'm just sitting there looking like maybe we're clashing here. And I had to really dig in. This is just the self-plug. I'm like, this one of the moments where you like, do you know who I am? Yeah. Like, this is 4 walls, and this is a ministry where we're all technically spiritually supposed to be equal in here. Yeah. Right? All with one accord. So if you don't have a praise team and a choir that's trying to be on Stellar Awards or trying to cut a record, you in the wrong place. Yeah. Like, you can't, you're not making, you know, a Tasha Cobbs out of the local Baptist church ministry. You not getting a Troy Chambers or a Darian or a Jay in every house. Yeah. You may just have the person that's doing this, and that's their cat. Yeah. So when people get into a spot and they say, oh, I'm outgrowing this, well, either it's 2 things. Either you're lying to yourself or you're scared to get where you needed to grow to get where you're trying to grow to. So the start wasn't here. And as Darian said, let's be honest, you came in here to get the bag. Yeah. And now it's like, oh, I've outgrown it. You outgrew what? Right. Exactly. You, like that right there, I get it, man. Exactly. that hit me, and that's something. If I could go back, I would have stopped that in its tracks, because then I'm chasing somebody who had no vision. Yeah. So my visa was all messed up, Rakeem. My visa's all jacked up because I was supposed to be a visionary, and I'm actually adhering to someone that made it like they can see and was blind as a bat. Wow. Yeah.
Jay, I'm coming back to you if you have any thoughts on any of the 2 comments, but let me hit one more thing that I forgot. All right, because I need to go back to this capped part, and I did hit this last week. I want to make sure I hit this again this week. All right, because again, the capped, that's a real thing for creatives in ministry. That's a real thing. That's even a real thing for pastors, because there is a creative side, you know, to pastoring and preaching and teaching. But this is a real thing. So the last thing I want to say here is kind of a warning to church leadership. Please, church leaders, pastors, please do not become tone deaf to your creatives when they either communicate to you or show you signs that they feel capped or trapped when it comes to their creativity.
That's good.
And I say don't take a tone deaf approach, because I am not advocating for you to cater to, kowtow to. That's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all. But just be careful not to take a tone deaf approach, even if you don't understand what capped really means. Yeah. Have the conversation so that you can start to gain understanding. And then I promise you, what you'll find is you'll find a lot less people leaving, you know, your ministry, or even leaving the ministry that they have a gift in and going back to the pew. Yeah. You'll find less of that when we have the conversations and we do not take a tone deaf approach. Any last thoughts on this topic, Jay?
No, I think you guys really said it all on this one. I'm good.
Cool. Let me shout out some watchers. Yeah. As we talked about, Mom Dale Sharp Lee. Yeah, Mom. Mrs. Morris is in the building. Hey. Kurt Keene, Candace Hinman Boone. Candy. See who else we have. James Hicks, Arnett Danielle.
Hicks.
1 Corinthians Nicole. Yeah, I call her First
You
Corinthians
call
now.
it two? Yeah, I call it
Yeah.
second. No, first. Yeah, I don't know. It all depends on what day it is.
Vernon Mobley Jr. We
Bird.
mentioned Raheem Harris, Jennifer
Yeah.
Benton. Happy birthday, ma'am.
Happy birthday.
Yes. Good. I saw that picture, Jen. She got that hot picture.
Rob Elliott Jr. is in the building. Or was in the building.
Bro.
Patrice DeLisser watching us all the way from Italy.
Italy.
Right, Italy. Wow, she's in Italy, everybody.
Yeah. Celeste Lofton Smith.
Celeste.
Mrs. Brister was mentioned. Courtney Gray, Sharon Sowell Jones, Grace Allen Shepard. Forgive me, bro, if I mess up the pronouncing, because I never knew if it was Daryl or Daryl, but I think it's Daryl Carolina. Please forgive me if I messed that up. Simone Culver. I think that's everybody so far. Again, thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you.
Lynn Marie Bethea, thanks for tuning in. All right, so let's try to open this topic here. What is my role, responsibility in the worship experience? Pels, I had asked you at the end of last week.
Mm-hmm.
I had
Hold
asked
on.
you to kind of set us up.
Stand up desk. This chick. There we go. There, because I had to get Jay in some good light over
Wait,
there. The
wait.
mood light was
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
but
now
you
you
know.
can
see.
All
Yeah.
right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dan.
Yeah, well, listen, we are glad Pels didn't have to backhand Alexa.
Yeah, I mean, she be tripping. You know what I'm saying? Tina be cussing her out. Tina be like, she don't listen to nothing I say. It's like I got a side joint in the house. I'll be like, Alexa, do this. And Alexa be doing it. She like, now when I asked her, she gonna get all funky. I was like, it's a. Go ahead, Darren. I'm sorry.
Alexa, sing the song like I told you to, anime.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
So like, nah, she asked me with attitude. I ain't doing it.
Sing it like I told you. You know what I mean?
So at the end of last week, I had asked Pelzer to give us kind of an intro
Oh,
into
Lord.
our next topic, where I wanted to start with at least a central understanding for what worship is. So Pels, if you're ready, I want to come back to you on that, just with your initial thoughts as we try to get a central understanding for what at least worship is, or what worship can be.
I forgot where I was actually at because it led up to something. But so here's Darren. This is gonna help me out.
Mhm.
Where were we trying to get to in that moment? Because I think I was being specific to understanding the expectation in the room. Okay, I got it. The expectation in the room. And I jumped into, and y'all cut me off, Jay, if you have to just cut me off, because I'll go off on this. Because I'm in an evaluation mode now, not scrutinizing, but evaluating, getting an understanding. So for whatever God has for me next, I want to make sure that I took the time off to look at what are we stressing ourselves to do and not accomplishing the goal that God wants us to.
Yeah.
All of this fight back and forth, or just the tension with the music department and all the analogies that everybody heard me say about, bands being like, some churches got the Lakers, other ones got the Sixers, other ones just got the team that nobody expects to win, and they're trying to do it. And then you got the hold on fans, and then you got the people just jumping into, all of a sudden now, because LeBron James and his son is on the same squad, I'm a Lakers fan all of a sudden. And then we got the people arguing at the phony ones. And then, we all cheered up because we got so-and-so on the team.
Yeah.
It's like, if your favorite player leaves the team, are you still a part of that organization?
Yeah.
Right? Are you ride or die? That Eagles fans say we bleed green.
Mm-hmm.
So if we lose Jalen Hurts and get, the worst quarterback in history, do we not go to the game?
Yeah.
Yes. Do we not fill in the seat?
Yeah.
Knowing that we're not even winning the Super Bowl. Worship is basically the Super Bowl has already been won. So I'm always in the pew. I'm always gathered. And the reality of it is, if you on the same team, worship is not just in one place.
No.
It's all over, and
Yes,
it's
sir.
individual, right? So for me, through the pandemic and after, closing our church doors, worship is more highlighted when I'm exercising.
Mm-hmm.
So my fitness regimen is more so a consequence of my need for worship.
Yes, sir.
So when my body don't feel like it, you know, I don't want to go here, but my body's telling me no, but my spirit's telling me yes. So my spirit leads my body into the exercise.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm like, there's a need to be in that quiet place with God. And so worship, when you get the individual worship, it's not so hard, and you don't need praise team wardens. We don't need praise team military coaches. Right? Y'all get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put your hands up. Put your hands together. Come on, throw your hands in the air. Bless the Lord. Everybody, all over. Oh, y'all just gonna sit down like y'all ain't got nothing to praise God for.
Right.
Like, girl, bye. Dude, sit down somewhere.
Worship drill instructors.
Yeah, it's like the right mom
praise team
wardens.
yeah.
Like, it's like, I don't necessarily blame them as much as the responsibility is also in the pew. So we have to redefine, like, what is that? And it's not just, and I'm not knocking this, it's not the acoustic guitar and strings, and that's worship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not, that's good in some places, but that ain't in all places.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, and you can't have worship without the word. Right? So I'll say this and get off of it, because like I said, I will keep going.
Yeah.
If you don't see the need for less argument and more apologetics, you're not going to find worship.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to John and find out with Jesus, with the woman at the well. Everybody like talk about that daggone water pot and stuff, and I applaud it. It's a good starter kit for women in ministry, but
Yeah.
worship him in spirit and in truth. And in the words of Dr. Keith Reed, the word became flesh and dwelt among us. If God was all judgment, he'd be too hard on us.
Yeah.
And if he was all grace, he'd be too soft
soft.
on us.
Yep.
So full of grace and truth. So
Yes, sir.
we normally think worship is all about God's grace, but we don't deal with truth. And if you don't deal with truth, you cannot have evangelism without truth, because evangelism is based on the truth that Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins, and he rose on the third day, and he is coming back.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And everybody's trying to be the wardens on what God is going to punish and what he's not going to punish. Where if we just stick with the fact that he died, why did he die?
Why did he die?
Because if I could just do whatever that ham sandwich I want to do, not be sensitive towards it, if there's no real change and I say I'm saved and things don't bother me at all, then what did Christ die for?
There you go.
And if that be the case, rather than sit around and have people come to us and say, well, is this a sin? Am I going to hell for this? Am I going to hell for that? What say you? Here's what they say. What do you say? Well, I don't know. That's normally what happens.
Yeah.
But yet everybody's gathering and worshiping, hands lifted. No, that's just a hand of lottery.
Yeah.
That's just a tithe of lottery that I might win the Mega Millions.
Yeah.
And I'll keep doing that, like Grandmama old used to just play the street numbers, box straight, street, legit, whatever,
Yep.
and will live and die not winning the lottery.
Yeah.
What does it profit a man to gain the world, lose his soul? So worship has to be to a place where individually I have exhausted and understood my need for God, my need for a savior. And when that is in place,
Yes, sir.
I'm walking into the building that there's an identity that's not a crisis, but it's a connection.
Yes, sir.
So that when these brothers and myself, we all touch and agree on something that we all dealing with. And there's a likeness of us being husbands and men of God where we can identify. I'm not you, you're not me. My situation is not exactly like yours, but we can identify that we all can help one another. So when we're all serving the same God, when we're all agreeing on the need for the cross, then worship can begin.
Yeah.
But too often, people are just paying ticket money to watch performances.
Yes, sir.
And they're evaluating their connection with God based on their approval of what they just experienced.
Yes, sir.
And that ain't worship.
No. So listen, we got 20 minutes. Jay, I'm gonna kind of set you up with this question here. Okay.
Yeah.
But let me start here because that's why I wanted Pels to start with.
You set me up to run my mouth.
Hey, I definitely did because it was needed. It was needed. But here's where I'm going, and I think we're going to spend some time over the next couple weeks. I wanted to start with the central understanding for worship, because here's where I wanted to get to as it relates to our audience, the creatives, and those in church ministry. The question I'm really trying to get to is, how does my gift have positive effect in the corporate worship setting? Let me say this, and then Jay, give me your thoughts. And I'm taking a very practical approach here. First law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics says energy in a closed system is neither lost nor gained. It is merely transferred from one place to the next.
Yep.
Why did I start there? Because energy is infectious.
Yep.
Emotion is infectious, which would have to point to worship is infectious. Let me go back to that. Energy is infectious, meaning, if you're around my energy long enough, it starts to rub off on you.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I'm highly emotional and you're around me long enough, it's going to start to rub off on you. Energy is infectious. Emotion is infectious. So we would have to also conclude that worship is infectious.
I like that.
Your thoughts, Jay? How does my gift have a positive effect in the corporate worship setting?
So mine is simple as well. I'm going to go for what is my role, responsibility in the worship experience. Mine is simple, and that is to be a vessel, to be open to what's going on. Why do you say that, Jay? Well, sure, I'll tell you. Every service that you play or sing for is different. It's hard to have a copycat view of one church to the next. Even if you go to two Pentecostal ministries, more likely there's going to be some differences between those two ministries.
Amen.
I play for a Baptist church, and then after that I play for an apostolic ministry. Now, two different ministries. Every Sunday I pray, Lord, let me be a vessel. Now, when I pray that, I'm not praying. Listen to me very carefully. I'm not praying that I'll play good.
Because you already know you play good.
That's a given. I'm going to do what I got to do.
I like it.
I'm not praying that I'm going to play good.
I like it.
My prayer, Lord, give me what I need to serve the people.
For the transfer. Preach it,
For
boy.
the transfer of energy. I don't want a dry well. I need to be able to serve the people the water that's needed. Now, Baptist church, very laid back. I'm covered. However, the apostolic ministry after that, those of you that have those nice cars and they got comfort settings, that's the Baptist church. But then in apostolic ministry, I got to hit sport.
Yeah.
And when you hit sport mode in those cars, the suspension tenses up. The gear shift changes.
Yes, sir.
The whole car now is in a different mode, and it's a little bit It's a little bit more spirited,
Mm-hmm.
as they say.
Mhm.
Same way.
Yeah.
I don't play the same. I don't give the same energy to the Baptist church as I do the apostolic ministry, because they need their energies a little bit more.
Yeah.
So if I come in there with the Baptist setting, that's not going to be enough for that ministry.
Mhm.
That they need more water.
And that does not mean something negative about the Baptist energy.
That's right. It does not mean nothing negative about that Baptist ministry, and it also doesn't mean nothing negative about the apostolic ministry.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's like, you know, there's two different energies that's necessary, because guess what? You bring the apostolic ministry in that Baptist church, they're gonna be like, all right, now something, you all right?
Mhm.
What did you take this morning?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be looked they're gonna be like, you had too much coffee.
Yeah.
Because that's not necessary. So when you're a vessel,
Yeah.
whatever you need for the Baptist ministry, you got. The Lord has given you that.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with your playing.
Mhm.
It's the energy you need that makes what you're playing easy.
Mm.
Because those of you that have sang and played for different ministries, you know that there is a whole strain, a different type of energy that's needed. And if you go into those type of ministries and you're not prepared to work, and you're not prepared to be there, especially when the spirit is high
Mhm.
and the tarrying begins, if you are tired, if you are wore out, they are going to wear you out.
Mm.
And whatever the enemy and the situations in that place, your energy is going to rub off.
Yeah.
And it's going to wear you out. This is why I always pray, Lord, help me to be a vessel. Because guess what? The same way I'll play for that apostolic ministry, I won't play like that for One Accord.
Correct.
It's a band setting. They don't need all that. You have 6 different musicians playing.
Mhm.
All those musicians can play on their own and kill by themselves. I don't need to do all that.
Jay,
Yeah. Go
Darren,
ahead.
if you allow me, I
No,
like
no, no.
this.
I was coming back to you either way.
No, I like this because Jay brings up some great points. Back to John chapter 4.
Yes, sir.
They that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. That whole encounter is 2 people at one place.
Mm-hmm.
It's the woman represents us as the living soul, the vessel,
Yeah.
in the face of Jesus Christ himself.
Mm-hmm.
So worship, if you take patterns of the Bible, literally happens right there with just Jesus and me.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving from that place, her brain is in a place and he's like, it's truth, right? Spirit truth. If you take that, you can be in any gathering and worship will exist because your focus, as Jay is saying, is on Christ. Now, there's a couple of questions I wanted to ask. I'm only going to ask 2. One of these is funny. What denomination is the Stellar Awards? What denomination is your record when you get the release? What denomination is the radio station?
Bruh.
But whether I'm Baptist, Apostolic, Catholic, pseudo-Catholic, pseudo-Baptist, pseudo-Pentecostal, Baptist, something, whatever, old school Baptist, new certain, non-denominational, it's either sacred or secular.
Mm-hmm.
Mom Dale put up something that makes all the sense in the world.
All the sense in the world.
She basically said the diversity of how we demonstrate our
Yes.
faith.
Good.
This is how you help define and knock down the denominational battles,
Yes.
right? Because I realized that the most non-denominational individuals are musicians. Because wherever the money's at, that's where we technically gonna go. I say that in a safe way. Because if somebody told me they paying $600 over there, they paying $600 there, we singing the same daggone songs. The preachers preaching from the same Bible, except one doing a lot more tongues than the other. They slinging more oil around in this one. There's more people passing out in the aisle. There's more stuck up people over here, and they all black.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it right there.
or a little mix or something like that.
Yeah.
We wearing the same suit we had on at 3 different denominations doing
Yes,
the
sir.
same thing. And what really matters is who we are while they try to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, all the outside people is laughing at us because we're stereotyping denominations. Jay, you will find him in a Subaru. Am I right, Jay?
That's it.
It's a real good looking Subaru. But guess what? I look at a Subaru as a biker. When I see a Subaru coming, I've already called them apostolic. Until I see who's in it.
Yeah.
And I'm judging that Subaru on the bike because either a Subaru driver in my neighborhood is either a biker that's going to give you lane courtesy or they think they own the daggone road. Right? Every pickup truck is a Trump supporter, if you ask me. And if I hear a pickup truck, I swear I'm getting off the road because I don't need no white people killing me. I'm just trying to say, y'all. But that's not true.
It's not true.
That's not true because the man is white and he got an American flag on the back. He's not racist. I don't know that until I talk to him.
Yes,
So
sir.
we cannot judge a book by its cover. And if we keep doing that, we'll never understand what worship is. Because if you take the person in the back pew from each one of these denominations, sit them down with the Bible and ask them about Jesus Christ, most of them will say, well, we speak in tongues over here and they do that. We believe in tarrying and they believe in that. And it's that I didn't ask you that. I asked you, what must I do to be saved? Well, you got to go to. That's not what the Bible says.
No.
So worship. Listen, y'all, come on. It's worship leaders I know. They had a 7-day Adventist church on Saturday and at a Baptist church on Sunday morning and a Pentecostal church in the afternoon, doing the same playlist.
Exactly.
That's a big mix of a lot of theology and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep.
And most of the time, they're the most clueless people ever.
Yep.
I said it.
And here's the thing: if you're at Great Adventures or Doney Park and y'all all got on church shirts, and somebody come up and say, "Hey, what must I do to be saved?" You gonna say, "Are you Baptist?"
Right. Help me.
We don't got no organ there. We don't got no piano. Ain't nobody singing no song. Tasha Cobb ain't coming out the bathroom.
We ain't got
singing
no
to
oil.
you. We ain't got no oil. None of us carry olive oil with us right now. We're here to have fun with the youth team or whatever. But somebody wants to be saved.
Yeah.
You have to have something in you
Yes, sir.
wherever
I
you
love
go.
it, Jay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It does not. If it's all about the talent, then you're gonna be messed up. You got to have something in because you're not gonna have an organ everywhere you go. You're not gonna have a piano everywhere you go. Either you got the word in you or you don't.
Yeah.
So wait. So to Mom's point, and Darren, here we go. I'm a musical guy, so I'm going to. I had to preach out West Philly Sunday. Choir was singing. It was what it was. Shout out to that church. If you find out where I was at, cool. But if not, the drummer was. Oh, y'all want? I can say this because the pastor and I, we're cool. I'm gonna tell y'all this. The drummer is a tenured drummer. Feel this, Jay. You gonna hear this.
I know exactly where you're going.
And the pastor asked me a question about what do I do with this music ministry? And y'all know me, I had to be honest. I said, the drummer, need to ask you a question. That family, like, yeah, it's like not the pastor's family, but family of the church.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, he's a shall not be moved drummer.
Yep.
I'm talking about you ain't gonna expect him to progress and play any different.
Nope.
5 years from now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Talking about somebody who's happy with their cap.
Yep.
He's happy with his cat
Happy with the cat.
and dedicated and chilling. And when the musician had to leave because he had to go to another service, I finished preaching. I jumped on, played for the next offering. I did bless because that's basically all I know good. So I played that, right? And now I done played that with Spank and all these different drummers and, but I'm playing it with this guy. It's not Keem on the drums at all. Right?
Yeah.
That's the cap.
Yeah.
Right? Are y'all hearing what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So when I'm talking to the pastor, I'm like, the musician you got is fine. But this ain't going no higher than if the drummer changes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
Reality.
listen. So back to this worship thing I thought about is but the choir, they had a choir. Y'all know that's rare.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
a full choir.
Mhm.
Not Zach in one accord at all. But they sang
Yes, sir.
and they enjoyed it. And the people in the building were all standing up.
Yep.
Now, if you were to ask me to rate the quality of the singing and the quality of musicians, I'm sorry, it's not going to be that favorable.
Mhm.
But for the experience, it was totally fine.
And that right there is what the outside of things, when the powers that be, I call it.
Yeah.
If it sounds good, it's good. It doesn't matter what's happening on the inside. So you can say all you want. With such and we need a personnel change because such and such is not progressing. Yeah, but Sunday sounded amazing though.
And Jay, the thing was, that worked for that sanctuary and that crowd.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right? And,
Yeah.
and so it's like, then back to Darian's point, see, we tying all together. Then you get those people who say, oh, I've outgrown this. Then go.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Because nobody in that sanctuary looked like they was complaining because the drummer wasn't what I thought the drummer can be.
Yeah.
And I had to tell that pastor, you may think you need more, you technically don't. Now, if it's frustrating you, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can only tell you, I would say be grateful for what you got.
Yep.
Because I was like, if I even got you a better drummer in here, it'll throw your whole system off.
Yep.
There you go.
There it is.
Right?
There.
Jay, you can play there. Darian can play there. I can play there because we'll know this is the cat. I've seen Darian look at whoever the other musician is, and I'm laughing because Darian will adjust to whatever he's got
Yep.
and be like, this is his cat. I'm not expecting the rain on us. We're not giving him.
No, you're not giving them that.
We're not giving
expecting
that, 'cause
Calvin Rogers, Eddie Hayward.
No.
You're not getting that.
No.
We don't even need to bother with that.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that. The bass player that don't know the 1, the 5, the 3, the 4, you just flow with me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So worship, it can't be, Jay, like you said, based on your talent itself. Because you would know how to adjust your
Adjust
talent
and adapt.
Yeah.
and adapt
Yeah.
for the outcome of what makes them feel good. So I got my black behind on that keyboard and I played with that drummer and we had a great time.
Yep.
Because it lifted his soul, the choir soul was lifted, the congregation soul was lifted. And did I do a lot of work? No.
Yeah.
But I knew my assignment. I'm done.
Yeah. And that's how at the end of the day, we want God to be pleased.
Say it, Bishop.
At the end of the day,
Say it, Bishop.
if the hearts are edified and God is glorified, it doesn't matter whether the drummer was able to keep up with Pels. Pels didn't need to play hard. That's not what he just
Yeah.
he knew what he needed at that time.
Yeah.
So if he just needed to play blessed and a few chords or whatever, but to everybody else, he sound like Fred Hammond up there.
Yeah.
It sound like the actual record.
Yeah.
So it's at the end of the day, if this is what the worship is about, and hey, it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
See, my
So listen.
messes up right
Yeah.
there. See that right there?
I don't even know if
That-
we have time to
Okay,
dig in
that's-
that, but
you
that's
should
going in
start
my
with that.
comment archive.
You need to start with that.
That's going in my comment archive. We're out of time. I want to shout out a few watchers before I say my last thing. Yolanda Neely Butler, Crystal L, Quentin Davis, Choya Gillis. Thank you all for tuning in. Now, here's a bit of a rhetorical question, but I'll definitely take an answer to it. And this is aimed at the pulpit, the singing pit, and the music pit. Mom had made a comment a little while ago. It said, worship is work.
Yep, I loved it.
How many of us from the pulpit, the singing pit, and the music pit, how many of us, when we finally get on the other side of our home door on Sunday, feel like we have worked a 20-hour day? How many of us, even when we come home from just one service and we take that nap, I call it a glory nap.
Come on.
How many of us feel so like rejuvenated from the glory nap that sometimes we don't even feel from 7 hours of sleep from Monday night to Tuesday morning? That's common with all of us, and that's why I said the pulpit as well, because it's the same thing for the pastor who labors delivering the word. Why am I asking that? Well, I wanted to try to paint this picture. The pew, they come to the worship experience. Generally speaking, they come empty, looking to be filled.
Yeah.
It's the opposite for the pulpit, the singing pit, and the music pit.
So correct.
We are supposed to come filled,
Yes.
looking to be emptied.
Yes.
Transfer.
Yes. Exactly.
Let me do that one more time. The pulpit the pew in general, they come empty, looking to be filled.
Yeah.
But the pulpit, the singing pit, and the music pit, it is our responsibility to come filled,
Already.
ready to be emptied.
Yep. Yep.
So when we talk about our role and responsibility in the worship experience and how our gift can have a positive effect, it's got to start with us coming filled.
Yes.
And that doesn't happen when you wake up on Sunday morning. Now that's what you do throughout the week.
Yep.
And when I say throughout the week, that don't just apply to the pastor. That applies to the singers and the musicians as well.
Yep.
What are you doing throughout the week to be filled when we come for the worship experience so that we can be emptied?
Yeah.
Because if we come empty, what are we giving
To the people.
to God's people?
Yeah.
Yo, Darren, so jot this down for next week. I felt this as you were saying that. So what part of this, how do you connect that to the issues with worthy of hire, right?
Yep.
If you have a call or Old Baptist saying, charge to keep, I have. So if I go somewhere and there's not a musician in the room, I'm charged to play.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Right? If you hear bad sound and everybody tapping around, you're charged to run up into that booth and fix the problem.
Yeah.
Because you're always charged to transfer. Right?
Yes, sir.
So the pay, rightfully so, is more of a consequence of my always being charged and filled with the gift.
Yes, sir.
Right? We're gonna lose the whole idea. Just do it for nothing.
Yeah.
No, your gift makes room for you. Just eisegetically saying that.
Yeah.
But as the way you put that out there, Darian, I love it because that's it, Mom. It's my assignment. Whether I execute it or not, this is what I'm called to do.
Yes, sir.
So I'm always confident. Paul says, be confident because of what you're filled with. You walk in confidence. Because you have access, right? Because the veil is rent, you come boldly because you have the access.
Yeah.
You are filled and you have been given authority to have the access, so you come to the presence boldly. And so when you, like what you said, so all of those positions that are to transfer, what happens when you don't have a job? Are you transferring? Or are you waiting for an atmosphere to transfer? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, when the finances are how you want them, when the proposition is given to you, you're never shifting based on your pockets.
Yes, sir.
But you're always pouring that much more because you're grateful that God has favored you.
Yes, sir.
And so that's when you're like y'all too, where you play the same. That's when you like, let's a Troy Chambers.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a Casio keyboard or organ. If it's 5 people, 30,000 people, the dude always messes the room up.
He gonna make that thing sound like you didn't think it could sound.
Period.
And what did Derek Jackson say? It's never the instrument.
Never.
Never. And that helps us with worship, right? That helps us with worship because I'm saying this because y'all can identify. We tap in. And the only thing that shifts us is when there's a challenge. You may come into a church and it's like, it's 5 people here.
Yeah.
That is a trigger of challenge to say, "Woo, this is a weird night." But you pray because you come in to do whatever. I'm gonna use cameras for example.
Yeah.
I work my cameras with anointing.
Yes, sir.
And listen, I'm telling y'all, I literally pray about every photo shoot, even if it's an event. I pray about it that Lord, that one of these shots that I take just touches somebody. Now
Yes,
that
sir.
may sound like the weirdest thing, but when a mother or somebody comes to me and said, "This shot right here, I need to get that framed,"
Mm-hmm.
that's because this is worship to me too. If I can help somebody,
As I travel.
Wow.
take it, Jay. Good. Somebody, Jay's
So-
word. Darren, you
Jay, you can take the last word.
take last word.
We got 2 minutes.
Okay. So, I was listening and we was talking, we were, I noticed I've been talking about wells today so much because I was listening to Stephen Hurd last night and he said something very powerful. He said when he was young, his grandfather used to take him to the well and he used to draw water and they would drink it. He said, but one day he took him to the well and nothing came back up. And the grandfather said, well, try it again, dig a little deeper. Nothing came back up. And he tried the third time and something came back up, but the water was brown. And the grandfather said, don't drink that. He said, why? He said, because there's soot in the water and it can make you sick. And he said, a lot of times we try to dig and dig from empty wells and we're giving the people soot. We wonder why they're sick.
Yeah.
They're spiritually sick and they're not getting any better because we don't have any fresh water. And I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna leave it alone. Like any vessel, you can't, pour Pepsi in the glasses and get water. You're gonna have Pepsi.
That's what you're going to have. And you can pass me that glass, by the way.
Yeah. That's with any liquid, the liquid that you pour out. So I say that to say, a lot of times, this is just me. A lot of times, if I'm preparing to play choir music for Zach Williams, usually I will listen to choir music.
Nice. I like it.
If I'm preparing to play for one of the pastors that has that asked me to come play for him for a revival, more likely I'm listening to some preaching.
Yeah.
I'm listening to how the organist is backing him up. I'm listening to different, so I'm filling myself up
Yeah.
with what I'm about to pour back out.
There you go. That part.
I don't need to fill myself up to preach because I'm not going to preach. What I'm listening for is the music. So if I'm playing for whatever I'm doing, whether I'm playing for CCM ministry, apostolic ministry, I always have to fill up whatever in my vessel
Yes, sir.
in order to be able to pour back out. So, that's all I have to say.
Listen, guys, we got to get out of here. Our time is drawn here. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Some last minute watchers that came in: Ernestine Draper, Felicia Laval Jones, Pauline Schaub. I apologize if I messed that up. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back
Thank you
next
all.
week. We'll be back to our regular time at 12 p.m. We apologize for the difficulties today, but we are straight. And we are going to have an in-studio guest.
Yeah.
Our
Be looking out for the flyer.
Yeah, our big brother Tremaine Dunlap is coming back.
Tremaine.
So we're going to talk about some of the sound stuff. We're going to take about 30, 35 minutes. We're going to dispel some of those things that relate to sound in our churches that, we may have misconceptions about. So we look forward to seeing you all next week. Again, I'm one of your hosts, D. Brister.
Jay Morris.
Reverend Juice is all yours.
Those are out with Dewey Powell people.
Oh, who I'm talking to. But the Lord has given me a word for you. Whatever you're going through, yeah, God gave me this word for you. Everything will be alright. When you're going through, just remember this word. Everything will be alright. Now listen, everybody clap your hands out now this evening. Listen, I want y'all to